Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
We're on the Frontline Gaming Network. This is your weekly tournament show where we talk about the most crazy stuff. The list you're going to see, the players you're going to face, events from all over the world each and every week. We are defining the meta.
Whoa, defining it.
Well,
we're not creating it, but we're just talking. We're just defining it. We're writing the encyclopedia on it.
Bringing it to your attention.
Let me try that one more time. We're describing the meta.
We're describing the meta. That sounds so much more exciting.
Drawing long bows and strong parallels.
Wow.
But look, that's what we do. Here on the Frontline Gaming Network, there's a bunch of shows. Please check them out. Also check out their store. All cool mats, fully painted terrain, fully colored terrain, awesome stuff. We have great events from all over the world to talk about this evening. Want to thank everybody for joining us in chat. Appreciate y'all being patient with us. We started late. If you're listening to us on podcast aggregators, you don't know that we started late, but we did, and you don't. That's why you should come and join us live, so you too can hang out and watch this happen.
The majesty, the magic. Our production crew is on hand at the BAO right now, setting up for the beautiful stream you will be able to enjoy over the next 3 days, which myself and the wonderful Nick will be shoutcasting for your earbuds. But this week we have BAO, we have Rocky Top Rumble, and we have Goonhammer Open in the UK. 3 100+ player events. If you wanted to get a snapshot of what you could expect from the meta for the next couple of months, this would be the show to watch.
Let's do it. So let's just jump right into it. Actually, I want to say, how's everybody doing this evening? Want to thank the chat for already making some comments, saying what's up. I was on Signals yesterday, so if you don't normally check out Signals from the front line, this show also on this network, go check it out. We had a fun time talking with Seth and Kicker. But I'm ready to get into this show. First one we're going to be talking about is the Bay Area Open. We can't not. 156 players, 9-round event in sunny San Francisco. I think it's sunny there.
Is it sunny that time of year? Oh, I was there. What, 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago? It was pretty nice.
It's very nice. Beautiful city.
That's awesome. So let's actually go down the factions we're going to see there, and then we'll talk about some of the players and list in attendance.
All right, let's go through some of these stats here. The Imperial Super Faction, we have 8 Sisters, 4 Custodes, 3 Admech, 5 Estra Militarum, 5 Grey Knights, and 5 Imperial Knights. Really even spread there with 156 player. It's actually a little lower than I was expecting for some of those.
Yeah, bit of a spike for the Sisters as well, possibly off a strong showing last weekend.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Look, they're figuring it out. I mean, this list. I mean, also supported by Armor Contempt, which is continuing to make waves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Space Marine Super Faction, there are 6 Dark Angels, 4 Space Wolves, 2 Blood Angels, 3 Ultramarines, 1 Salamander, 2 Black Templar, 1 Carcharodon? I don't know how to say it. Sorry,
Carcharodon. Get it together.
Carcharodon? It says Carcharodon. Charizard. The Charizard Ultramarine faction. That's Space Sharks.
I do really appreciate a well done a done up army of those. Got a great color scheme. I like it when folks do some embellishments that really steer into that shark theme.
Only you have to run Tybros. This gentleman is. You got to run that red wake.
Well, that's perfect then. You wouldn't be able to put this as the actual super faction if not.
I think it's interesting that you separated out Flesh Terrors.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
So there was a gentleman listed as Flesh Terrors, and he was running Gabe, Seth, and then there was a guy listed as Carcharodons who was running Tybros, and I'm like, yes, gentlemen, you will be listed. You'll be honored.
Given them,
we see you.
Appreciate it. We see you. We always see you. See we see what you see and what you do, and we got to tell everybody about it. The Chaos Super Faction, there's 4 Chaos Soups, 7 T-Suns, 10 Death Guard, and 9 Renegade Knights. Renegade Knights almost doubling the Imperial Knights in this one.
Yeah.
Renegade Knights are strong, incredibly strong.
For sure. Xeno Super Faction, there's 4 Necrons, 6 Orcs, 19 Tau.
No.
God. I'd like to point out the Tau are also incredibly strong.
Yes.
The Hive Mind Super Faction, there's 12 Tyranids, so being less than Tau in this one. 3 GSC. The Eldari Super Faction, there are 6 Eldari, 2 Drukhari, 6 Harlequins, 9 Assyriani. So the faction podium ends up being Tau at 19, the number 2 with Tyranids at 12, and Death Guard pulling in the bronze podium at 10.
That's probably the first time in about 6 months we've seen them hit the podium. Although actually they're probably like
especially in an American tournament too. Because usually we see them in Europe, but
usually it's in Europe.
Well, can we talk about this for just a second? The fact that the Tau
Absolutely, we can.
have taken the slot here from Tyranids, which we've seen, from previous episodes, could have something to do with the region itself, but it also might be defined with the fact that how they place terrain. Do you think that has a factor in maybe determining what some players have chosen to bring to this event?
Maybe. I mean, see, the Tyranids right now, they took a hit with the last one. Now I'm assuming this is fully in effect now for this tournament here. It
Full on
is
FAQ, yeah.
full
I,
full
mean,
on
I have to
FAQ. Yeah,
imagine, right? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, which it does hurt a lot of people's builds. It affected a lot of the plans a lot of Tyranid players had, and I think a lot of them got discouraged right away. So maybe have moved away from it like originally, maybe to come back later. Just aside, depending on what happens with chapter approved, when all kinds of points will change. Because maybe the Nids will still get, maybe they'll get some buffs, maybe they'll get some nerfs. We don't know, but it's an odd time for them right now because they were really really strong, and then some people just didn't like those hits because they hurt. They hurt, even
Do you
though
want
they
to
were
hear?
balanced. They were
You,
balanced. Don't get
you,
me wrong; it needed to happen, but it hurt.
do you want to hear something crazy, gents? That I just had
I
a little read
do.
on.
I do want to hear
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
I want to see
So
something crazy.
Nids and Tau are podium place number 1 and number 2 for all three 100 plus player big old super majors for this week. And there is 41 Tyranids in attendance and 40 Tau in attendance across those three events. It's only one list differentiating those two, first place and second place for the three biggest events of this weekend. And I think that tells you everything. I think you're spot on, Paul, as well. I think on the player place terrain, the Tau feel a little bit better than they would otherwise. I mean, play place is pretty good for Tyranids as well. You just know you're going to be able to
Yeah.
protect your Flyrants, hold down your 9-man warriors and your Raveners and your Maliceptors and things. But for Tau, it is just like Freedom 101. Like, oh my god, I can guarantee one amazing firing lane onto an objective every single game at least. Really freeing. But how cool, how weird is that stat, guys? They're number 1 and number 2 in the podium places, and they swap, and
Look,
41 and 40. Wow.
it's not too weird knowing what we know and seeing what we see week after week. This is kind of what the trend is, and what will continuously reinforce is there are a lot of people out there being the meta, and so there's a lot of opportunity for people out there to beat it and figuring out how to beat it, which we saw some breakthroughs from last weekend. Maybe people start to kind of figure out new tech in their list. Be cool to see what happens after this week, and then also with that just dominant showing or numbers wise from the Tyranids and the Tau. But I want to say what's up to some folks in the chat. G6 Branch, Kara Quinn, Sindri, Tepik, Nergal Sabat TC. Thanks for coming in. They've taken on a life of their own. They don't even need us. They're
No,
so you want to come and be a part of
superfluous.
this as we do it live. So let's jump into what are we going to see some list wise?
So list-wise, I pulled out 3 of the favorite lists. Naturally, with Death Guard being one of the most numerous factions in attendance, I had to look at that meta, that microcosm, and see what was
I'm
going on.
glad you did.
There was only one of the lists that was taking Terminus Est, Strike Force. So that gentleman, I think, had 80 Poxwalkers and then a conglomeration. And everyone else seemed to be taking a more of a generalist all-comers approach. This was one that I picked out because I thought it had more of a Firebase backline, and because it was kind of a callback list. This is Chris Wilnick, or Willink. He's playing a Mortarian's Anvil Battalion. He's got a Death Guard Chaos Lord, Death Guard Demon Prince, 4 units of 5 Plague Marines to do his objective taking. Then he's got 3 Relic Contemptors. All of them have the missile racks. 2 of them are Volkite, and 1 of them's a Plasma Cannon. Really, really crazy to see. I suppose taking a battalion means you've got a couple of extra CP. If you want to pay 3 of them to take 3 Relic Contemptors, you can. In addition, he's got a Tallyman to pick up some of the shortfall and super buff one of those Contemptors. 2 Bloat Drones, shooting Bloat Drones, by the way, and
Oh,
2
wow.
two PBCs, and a miasmic Malignifier, whatever the crap, the fortification.
You
I
almost
thought,
had it.
no, I didn't. Thank you. What do you guys make of this one?
It makes me really happy to see Plague Marines in a list again. I haven't seen those in forever. The fact that Armor of Contempt was enough to kind of put them back in lists, I think, is actually it's a little surprising that was all they're missing. Yeah, they just needed 1 more armor, and then they're good now.
It is.
Mm.
kind of noteworthy that there's no rhinos. Normally, if you're going to see plague marines, I think
Yeah,
you might see some rhinos.
especially
Uh,
four groups of 5, like, that's
Well,
perfect for 2 rhinos, right?
yeah,
legitimately, the biggest reason I pulled this out is because every single other list had a huge amount of Terminators. This is the only one that has
Yeah,
0 Terminators in it.
that's true.
And I was hoping to draw a bead for people to show that, hey, there is an archetype out there that doesn't solely rely on you using your Terminators well. Would this list be better with 1 or 2 units of Terminators? Maybe.
well, I mean, let's better is relative, right? I mean, obviously, if you like, this thing can score points, you
Absolutely.
do create a situation where people have to dedicate fire to the dreadnoughts, and maybe there's nothing left to
Mm.
throw on the plague marines. So the plague marines are basically you've the fact that he has 3 contemptor dreadnoughts and the plague burst crawlers and even the bloat
The
drones
shooty blow
firing
drones.
means
Yeah.
the plague marines may exist on the table until turn 3 or 4.
Mm.
Uh, y- I mean, because people have to dedicate stuff to those other vehicles.
KR Quinn, yes, this is the BAO. He's just been saying in there, there's no header. I don't know what's up. Must have just joined
Oh,
us like mid faction
Yeah,
apologies.
breakdown.
This is
Um,
the BAO, and our production team is struggling right now. We're going to try to go
what
easy on them. So you
does
know,
does anybody know what the fortification does?
that's the furnace thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it does.
Oof.
I'll tell you in
I
a
don't know what
second.
it's. I don't know why it's there.
It
It
Apparently you
looks
looks
can.
cool.
cool.
Can
Yeah.
you kill it? It's got a toughness value and a wounds value.
Well, I guess you can if it has that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I'm logging into the
Uh,
app right now.
Death Guard infantry units wholly within 6 of this model receive the benefits of light cover. If we're already receiving light cover, they are -1 to hit. They get dense cover, so you can sit all those Plague Marines next to it
Now
on
they're gonna be a
possibly
one-up save.
with player place terrain and then straddling 2 objectives, and then so you put it between 2 objectives and then 2 Plague Marine units on 2 objectives beside it. It's actually not crazy. I like that
No,
idea.
that's annoying to
This
shoot through.
plays right into that strategy I was talking about. Is it force people to really make priority checks because the same weapons that they want to fire to those plague marines to get through that are the same weapons they have to dedicate to
Hmm.
the vehicles,
Mhm.
and it's not doable for some list.
Yeah, exactly right. Moving on to the next top in attendance, we got Aurelio Carrera, who's a lovely gentleman who actually probably helped set up the BAO today. I saw him unloading the truck. He's playing Renegade Knight, House Herpatrax. Old Herpy House. It's got a super heavy detachment. So this is an interesting one to unpack because it's on the infernal side of the houses, not on the
Love the
iconoclast
infernal.
side.
I'm way bigger fan of the
I,
infernal than the
I still like the
iconoclast.
iconoclast. I still like
Well,
the
it's actually interesting because I think it's not as cut and dry as I reviewed half the codex this weekend just gone, and I thought the iconoclast side had the better support and more of what I feel like I want to do with Renegade Knights, but
Mhm.
it's not straight up and down at all. It's got a super heavy attachment, comes in with a Knight Abominate, a Knight Desecrator, 2 Brigands, 2 Executioners, and 3 Stalkers. Am I right in saying that the 3 Stalkers are Helverins? The Executioners are the Brigands are the Helverins.
Executioners are the autocannon ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. I don't quite have my head around which variants each of these are, but I thought it was interesting to not see any carnivores here because I rate the carnivores very highly.
Especially if you're going with the infernal, so you can move 17 inches across the table.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you can just be like, oh yeah, cool, we're just gonna go, and
Yeah,
looks like you just went.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
go very fast.
In terms of
um,
the archetype for this, though, this is exactly the kind of build you want to do for Chaos Knights, in my opinion. Like the Abominant Desecrator, those are the 2 to take the big knights, and then some kind of variation of 7 smaller knights.
mm, I
Maybe
think that
I'm
My word.
with you. I like the carnivores, but this works too. This works
Mark
too.
my words. Like I've called the Dire Avengers, the uh, the bloat drones.
yeah.
There's some other sleeper units. I'm sure that, but I think that you're gonna want 10, 11 of the small knights with
I
just one
am
big one.
leaning. I'm leaning that way too. I fully expect everyone to play with their Abominate. It's the new kit. It does a
It's
bunch of new
good.
awesome
It's very
stuff.
good.
I would not be surprised to in a couple of months to be seeing one big knight and then little boys, and then in maybe 9 months from now, just war dogs, just
Yeah.
12 war
I
dogs.
I still think it's gonna be 2 big ones and the rest little. It's gotta be for Chaos.
Mm,
I think it's too big, the rest little.
that's
That's
fair.
what I think. That's
That
what I
seems to
think.
be the convention right now, and you could be right. That could be what wins out. I just, I find that having more things to go out and interact with the table is good. But I will say, having what that second night does is give you a carrier for burning some more of your pregame stratagems. You can get
Yeah,
more of what the juicy stuff
You can
of the
do a
book
lot
has to
with them.
offer.
Yeah.
you're more incentivized to put it on a larger night. And if you have that second choice, it gives
Mm.
you that, and maybe that's what ultimately wins out. Um, we'll see.
Well, fair enough. Last one we'll be covering for this event is Mr. Stephen Box, who's lovingly running a class, a teaching class pre-BAO. Go check it out, or just give it a walk past and see what's up if you're around in the hall or in the area. Lovely gentleman who I've had the joy of meeting on a couple of occasions. He's running Blood Angels, Paul. Single battalion of Blood Angels, as a matter of
I
fact.
mean,
Hey,
come on.
that's the
What
way.
else do you
That's the way.
need?
Well, I thought he'd be running. If I had to guess, he's a very good Sisters player, a very good Blood Angels player. And if I
Yeah.
had to pick of the two right now, I'd probably be playing Sisters. So I'm happy he's not. He's bucking the trend a little bit.
Think of this though. So Sisters, a lot of models. Blood Angels,
Mhm.
fewer models. Traveling 8,000 miles.
That's totally fair. Could just be a smaller case. It gets him over the line. Oh,
And
I
Blood
didn't have to
Angels
pay
are
for
the best.
carry on. Yeah. But this list is, like I said, a single battalion. Dante, Sang Priest, 5 Assault Intercessors, 2x5 Incursors, 5 Assault Centurions, boys. We need to unpack this in a moment. 5 Death Company with usual conglomeration of hammers and not hammers. A Sanguinary Ancient, 3 units of 7 Sanguinary Guard, and then 5 Assault Marines, just because he probably wants to take the secondary and yeet them, get some more points.
Yeah, I don't mind it. You get a little bit of a premium. A discount on the price, but points
Mm.
wise, and they function functionally the same as everything
Well,
else, unless you need
well,
that armor save.
Well, a lot of the time, like you've got like 5 Vanguard vets here, there, and everywhere in these lists, and usually they just go and kill your opponent's crew. Yeah, you
Ain't
could just
nobody
do
got the
that.
points for that when you're buying
Ex-
Assault Centurions.
Well, I was about to say, well, when you need to find points to get 5 Assault Centurions into your list for some freaking reason,
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun
that's
there,
where
but that
you
was
go.
immediately jumped out to me. He's like, you got to make some compromises.
What are they doing here? Why are they here? What's going on?
I was talking about this with some of my fellow teammates recently. Like the Centurions are actually, I feel like they're kind of being missed a little bit because they were durable before Armor of Contempt.
Hmm.
Now they have a natural 2-up, and they still hit like trucks, especially
They
Blood Angels.
Well, and they bring something to this list, and that Marines can't really get anywhere else. That's super high rend, super high damage,
Yeah.
mass attacks. I mean, Thunder Hammers only have rend 2 now in the Armor of Contempt
Yeah,
world.
exactly.
In Assault Doctrine, if you think they're going to do the damage that they used to do, and if you can't get there, but see, when I think about Assault Centurions, I still think White Scars. White Scars is the best. They make them faster, advance and charge, yeet them in, have a chappy as well, sling them. How does he actually use them in here? Because they are so much slower than the rest of the
That's actually going to point out is the fact they're slower. I guess you go in waves. You
Mm.
you Forlorn Fury, the Death Company up. You've got your Sanguinary Guard coming in a little bit more, I guess, as like a pincer move, probably coming around the edges, or maybe even coming down in from Deep Strike.
Deep Strike,
And then
right? 'Cause
you've
they
got
got
the
post
Centurions
charge?
just tumbling up the middle.
Mm.
They
And
post
yeah,
charge,
well,
don't they?
turn
What's that,
turn
Dustin?
3.
They postpone a charge, don't they?
Yeah,
When
they got
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like coming in from Deep Strike, that's an easy way to get them in.
Well, you're going to spend your 2
I-
CP to
I
put them
can-
in the strategic reserve
I
because they
can- I
can't
can
deep strike
feel-
naturally.
Oh, the Centurions don't get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They got
you
to.
got to pay 2
coming in from
CP
the
to
side.
strategic them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
But,
It's a way to
I mean,
guarantee-
it does
but-
get you better odds or whatever. But I really,
Yeah.
I see them almost like just kind of bumbling. I don't want to say bumbling. They're your third wave.
Third wave.
Yeah.
Because the Sanguinary Guard, you basically burned them to a nub, right? They come sliding in, screaming from orbit, burning up on entry, but take everything they have with them. Essentially everything they get close to, they'll take them with them. And then you got to have that third wave there. I think those are probably his last things on the table.
Yeah,
of
I
the game.
think it's
Yeah.
important for their rend. That's the main thing we got to talk about. here.
Exactly right.
It's the rend they're there. The rend and the damage potentially as well.
So
The
'cause-
Rin only matters if you get there.
Well, you look at this
You'll-
army, right?
Well, you got to
though?
come to him eventually because he's going to go to the center of the board, right?
Well, so you look at this army. You've got super high rend, but only 2 damage on your Sangard. E.g., if you're -1 damage, who cares? Or you've got low rend on the Thunder Hammers, which are only going to be rend 2, rend 3 in Assault Dock, and you've only got 1 unit of it. So where do you go in the Space Marines book to get high rend, high damage? And Assault Centurions is a good option.
If only
So
they had like a unit that flew around in 2+ save with power swords.
it's
If only.
true.
If only he had 3 squads of 7 of them.
So I'm going to say this is the one I called. I called this one and said Power Sword at the moment just as good as a lightning claw. Power Sword just as good as a lightning
Okay.
claw
Okay.
on a Vanguard veteran, just as good. Yeah, no problems. Higher rend rerolls to wound. Who cares? You want the rend 4 in Assault Dock? Mwah, money.
Look, we can talk about the list choices from these pilots, but these pilots are the ones that are familiar with it. They're going to get it done on the table, and expect to see that from all the lists we've talked about.
Mm.
So with this in mind, I know we've only called out several factions or several lists, and we know the factions we're going to see there. What faction and/or player do y'all think is taking the top slot here? Dustin, we'll start with you.
I'm actually gonna kind of agree with what Paul's probably gonna say. I think Blood Angels actually have a really good shot into this. I love Blood Angels into this meta right now. Because I don't think they have a problem into Tau, like any huge problems. They have a good matchup into them. They can beat the Tyranids now, and no, I think they have a good. And this is the kind of style list you're going to see, and a lot of lists can't stand up to it.
I made a sign for today's show. It's a very technical sign. It's going to be hard to understand.
We got our art department, our finance
Yeah.
from the art department.
Can you guys see
I
that?
see what Nid's gonna win.
Yeah, lots of arrows. It's very, very delicate. Very
Giant
artistical.
circle.
That
was
that's my prediction for the entire weekend. It's just
Wow.
Nid's gonna win. This one's really hard to pick against Tau though. Like honestly, on player place with 19 players in attendance, still going Nids. Nids all the way.
With the Tau, with the Tyranids, I think they're very strong, and of course with player place terrain in there. Blood Angels, I feel it, but they're less than 1% of the list here. Although got a qualified, that we know some qualified pilots. I am going with Thousand Suns.
Ooh, bit of a callback to previous weeks.
Yeah, I'm going with Thousand Suns here because I think that one, they can kind of get up there, use terrain to their advantage, take out some of the Tau, have the durability. That's it.
Fair, cut and dry.
And they can lock down the Tyranids.
One more thing I'd like to say about BAO. One thing I always pay attention to since Armor of Contempt came out is which is the best power armor, which is the power armor people are backing, which is the Armor of Contempt people are backing. On the Imperial side, I like to look at all the Space Marines in conjunction with Grey Knights and Sisters. And it's very obvious that Sisters has been the backed power armor army for this event. There's 8 Sisters players, and they are higher than any other power armored Imperium side. Good guy side.
Good spot.
Bunny is good guy side. So they're at 8. Grey Knights are at 5, and but Dark Angels sit between them at 6. Now, if you look down into the chaos, the pointy side of things, T-Suns and Death Guard. Usually we'd see parity between T-Suns and Death Guard, or if not, we see it the other way around. But having more Death Guard than T-Suns is actually a little bit interesting, and actually not what I would have predicted. But enough on BAO. Let's move on, boys.
Yeah, look, I want to hear y'all's predictions in the chat too. Where did we get it wrong? Are there some players there that are going to be in attendance that you're backing? Let's hear it in the chat if you don't mind. Let us know what you think. So the next event we're going to be covering is Rocky Top Rumble from Knoxville, Tennessee, a little north of me right now. 118 players, 8-round event. Dustin, what are we going to be seeing there?
We are going to be seeing 5 Sisters, 5 Custodes, 1 Admech, 3 Astra Militarum, 7 Grey Knights, 4 Imperial Knights. In the Space Marine faction, there are 6 Dark Angels, 2 Space Wolves, 2 Blood Angels, 1 Ultramarine, 2 Salamanders, 3 Black Templar, 3 White Scars, and a Death Watch. Chaos Super faction, there's 5 Chaos Soup, 2 Chaos Space Marines, 6 T-Suns, 3 Death Guard dropping them for this event, 1 Demon, and 4 Renegade Knights.
They went to BAO.
They went to BAO, apparently, yeah. All the Death Guard went to BAO.
Yeah.
Xeno Super faction, there's 3 Necrons, 3 Orcs, 10 Tau. The Hive Mind Super faction, 15 Tyranids, 1 GSE hero. Eldari Super faction, there is 5 Eldari, 1 Drukhari, 5 Harlequins, and 8 Asuryani. Always just that even spread, and then Asuryani being a little bit ahead, Drukhari being a little bit behind. And that means the faction podium is Tyranids at the top this time at 15, Tau not far behind at 10, and Asuryani at 8. This one is a little more what I expect the meta to be at right now, to be honest.
Yeah,
Death Guard being on being the podium last one was a little surprising. This one,
this bit of an aberration.
Yeah,
and drawing our attention to the same thing we just left off in the last discussion, the power armor that seems to be backed, or the Armor of Contempt that's being backed more than others, is the Grey Knights in this one, which is interesting as well. It's even being backed more heavily than any of the Chaos ones. T-Suns are being triple the CSM and double the Death Guard. So that Armor of Contempt podium is Grey Knights, Dark Angels, Sisters, which pretty much exactly the same as the previous one, just in a different order.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too.
I want to call it that death watch there. Death watch, another thing that I think people have been kind of are knocking on the door, trying to figure out what to do, how to use it. This is one of those things. Don't count it out whenever you line up against them on the other side of the table. And we got a question in the chat is like, have the Thousand Sons won anything? Like, have there been a single Thousand Sons like
First
gold
place.
medal finish in any tournament?
I'm
Yes.
actually there must have been, right?
Yes. But I don't remember which one, and I know we covered it here.
Look, we can answer.
Yes.
The answer
Yes.
has to be probably.
The answer has to be probably, maybe.
But until last weekend, Adeptusoritas hadn't won anything major we've been talking about either. So there's some list brewing potential out there.
So Alamo GT came 5th, Dawn of Var came 4th. I'm looking for a first place. Viking Games Grand Tournament came 2nd. Imps Gaming January GT came 1st. Glass City GT came 1st. So there's a couple of first places there.
For Thousand Sons?
The T-Suns.
There we go.
Nice.
They've done it. They can do it.
Yeah, look, we knew the odds said it had to have been, right?
Yeah, that's a good,
for sure.
chance.
Mm.
Yeah, we knew that. That's why we just said it.
The Tyranids taking the pole position off the Tau, them trading back and forwards in representation. Like I said, exactly what we expect. Assyriani picking up on this one. I don't think this is player place terrain. I'm not actually quite sure what the terrain placement is on this one, but you think that's all the difference is?
I think
it's
we've got
not
some
even a
folks in
PP.
the chat that may be able to help us. Is this player place or fixed terrain for the Rocky Top Rumble?
And back to what you said previously, Paul. I've played against the Deathwatch Kill Team Strike Force, and that is one of the highest ceiling armies I've seen in 9th edition, possibly one of the highest. You only have like 5 units max, but at any given turn, you can make any of those units do whatever the crap you want. But the decision making is so ridiculously crucial that it's such a hard prospect. It's such a I'm going to crush you or get crushed kind of a list. And I feel like it's extremely powerful, but there's a lot of people who are unwilling to commit to it.
It's preset terrain. Just got that confirmation.
Okay.
Thank y'all very much.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
It's kind of
top
cool how
players-
this, we can almost like spot it with some of the, some of the trends in the list. But anyway, I actually do think that that's very important. Like knowing the lay of the land from wherever you're going, looking at the published documentation from the organizer to inform your decision. What you know about the meta, what you know about the event, what you know about the missions. If you know the missions that are being played or whatever, the order of the missions, it all factors in. I think to potentially your decision of what you take for the army.
Oh,
I
yeah,
reckon.
sure.
I reckon like this time next year we'll all just be ultra instinct on reading the numbers and just be like, this is WTC. We just look at the meta and be able to call what terrain maps are going to be. This is ITC. This is player place. Yeah, whatever. Top players in attendance to this one. This is a pretty stacked event, guys. Stephen Crawley, the 5th ranked player in the United States, is in attendance playing a Leviathan Tyranids army. He's got double patrol. 3 Tyrant Guard, 3 Neurothropes, the no Force Org slots, Zoanthropes, Neurothrope, and a Flyer in the HQs, 10 Gargoyles, 6 Warriors, a Maliceptor, and still taking 2 Harpies.
Now, why do you say still taking 2 Harpies?
Well, so they're still extremely good, but without the ability to put both of them into your opponent's deployment zone, bomb, shoot, and then take them off the table, I was wondering if we'd see a dip, whether we'd see some players move away from them. Dustin, you can speak to this better, but I'll get you to tune in once I've done the rest of the list. His second patrol is very easy. A single Flyer, Tyranid Prime, 9 Warriors, and 3 Venom Thropes. Our Tentacle Master, Dustin, will continue the breakdown.
Tentacle Master. Whoa, that's
evocative.
That's sus. That's sus, man. I don't know about that, but I'll take it for now. See, the Harpies right now, they actually still do a lot of work. They took a hit in terms of they can't keep them both safe after they put all their damage out, but they still give a lot of versatility and damage output for the Tyranids that they actually lack otherwise. Like the high damage guns they have, plus the mortal wound output is huge. Plus, it's just free turn 1 engage if you want it. There's a couple things you can do with them in terms of secondaries. I feel like they're still worth it. Like whenever I make Tyranid lists right now, I'm still including 2 Harpies too. Dropping spores, doing the mortals, like the double venom cannon alone is actually big for them.
That's why I question, I was like, why? I mean, there is, I think, an argument for like, because not every Tyranid list we see has Harpies.
Yeah.
And so I think they add a little bit of dynamic to the list that, I don't know what percentage the difference between the list are, but I just know I don't always see Harpies, and I was curious as to if you thought they took a big enough hit to rule them out from list for future on? And then what would you take in their place?
See, that's the thing with the Leviathan, because you can give one of them a 4-up invul and one of them be permanently transhuman. They're still both
Mm.
durable. Like they're still going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. -1 to hit, naturally, because they're going to be flying, and the damage output. I think they're great. I think Leviathan, it's an easy choice to take too. Anything else might be a little harder to justify because you're not going to be able to give them both just permanent transhuman. You have to spend a CP on one of them whenever it's shot, so it's a little bit harder to justify in something else. But Leviathan, I think they're very, very good.
Fair enough. All right, jumping down. Austin Wingfield, ranked 7th in the USA in attendance, playing a Suriani, Bale 10, Patrol, and Vanguard.
Respect that choice.
Me too. He's been waving that Bale 10 flag pretty hard. I love how Austin is kind of getting a bit of an identity as the guy who plays the good army but not on the good sub faction. Like he steamrolled with Nihilak in when everyone else was taking Novok, or the expansionist, and he was just like, nah, Nihilak's the way I play, and he's backing himself. I like it a lot. It shows some confidence in his abilities. Starts off with the patrol, 2 warlocks, a Farseer, 5 rangers, 6 fire dragons, 5 striking scorpions, 3 shining spears, 3 shroud runners, and a falcon. And then a vanguard with a warlock skyrunner, Farseer skyrunner, 5 rangers, 6 dire avengers, 5 howling banshees, a Mylan shadow guide, which I believe is the Blackstone Fortress ranger
that's
character.
the ranger. Yep.
Yep. 10 swooping hawks, 5 wolf spiders, a crimson hunter exarch, and a wave serpent. Do you guys remember when Drakari was in its heyday and we would read out lists that would just go on forever? This is that equivalent.
Nothing over 80 points, and it is never stopped.
It's exactly right. It's just got so many freaking units. It's kind of obnoxious in how much scoring ability it has. Every game, it can just decide to max rod, max engage, and then play strangle because it can just go and disrupt. It's got good threat from a decent Eldritch Storm as well. The psychic potential is pretty high. It doesn't have any one big slappy unit, which is something that I prefer. But that's just literally because Austin knows what he's doing better than I do.
I mean, the Eldari don't pack that unless they're running like a Hail of Doom variant, and this isn't it, which I'm actually kind of surprised to see. When we were going down the factions, I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, how many Hail of Doom is in this in here? That may help define the event.
Well, I can certainly tell you usually I would control F when I'm searching for Asuriani. I will control F Asuriani, and then I'll control F all the Eldari because some people list pure Asuriani as Eldari, and then I'll control F Ulthway and Beltan. And usually Ulthway was the highest number. Of the Ulthway percentage would be like 6 of the 8 would be Ulthway, and then there'd be a couple of Asuriani, a couple of people as Eldari as well. But now almost unanimously Asuriani, not listing themselves as Ulthway. And so that on its own would lead me to believe
a little
they're
off
mostly.
topic, or at least on a tangent or whatever, but I don't think this list necessarily needs it because the Falcon and the Fire Dragons almost make up as that one punchy unit. Like, you got that knight that we were just talking about. Well, I'm just going to drop this thing right next to it and vaporize it.
I mean, apart from the swooping hawks, which I've got to assume will be used as one of his to the last options, there's nothing he really cares about dying. He's like, you hit me really hard and killed 3 units. They're all cost 100 points. I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's a great point. It's like you could kill it whatever you want. I just have something else will roll up here and replace it and do an equivalent amount of damage that I was counting on as a player.
I really want to know what's up with the Crimson Hunter Exarch. Like, I want to understand. That's one piece of the list.
It's not the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, I was going to say we actually see it quite often now.
Yeah, we do. I still don't have. No Asuriani player has said to me, "Hey, this is what it does. This is why I like it. This is why you should too."
It's the Harpy premise, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. I feel like these are actually perfect for getting into a backline, something that the opponent thinks is going to be safe. They're trying to hide. Maybe they kind of even prevents them from taking it to the last sometimes because they can't put this in the back there.
That.
Like just having those like the Harpies or even like a Crimson Hunter Exarch, it makes you question: can I take this? Because this could just come and ace it right off the bat. I'm down 5 points.
All right.
That's a good point with the secondary choice and being able to get in your opponent's head about what to take, because some opponents they struggle to pick 3 great secondaries. By the way, I'm probably one of those opponents. By the way, to pick the 3 great secondaries. If now you've reduced me to taking, I now have 1 good secondary, that you're making that game increasingly difficult, maybe even out of reach for me, and maybe that type of list choice is influencing that decision. You may pick up one of your 8 games just because of that situation over the course of the weekend.
Yeah,
Spot
absolutely.
on. We had one more gentleman in attendance of the top 10 in the USA. This is Joseph Gillespie. But he's playing a Leviathan Tyrannid army, and it's pretty much exactly the same as Stevens. But he's got no Harpies, he's got Pyrovores, and a Screamer Killer with those points instead. Apart from that,
Also
it's pretty much
viable
exactly the
choices.
same.
The Pyrovore discussion is around: do I own Pyrovores or do I not own Pyrovores?
Or do I
Because
just
I think
run
if one
Biovores
owns
with
them,
Pyrovores?
Yeah.
they are
Or
in the list currently. I think that's the case.
you snap the gun off your Hive Guard and stick it on its head. Pyrovore.
Just
You're not
weird.
wrong.
So many
You're not
people have
wrong.
like 18 Hive Guard. You only will need 5 or 6 now. That's if you want to run them. So you've got 12 Hive
Yeah,
Guard. You've
for
got 12
this
Pyrovores
edition,
just sitting
maybe
there.
that'll change next edition. Then you have to rip them off again, put them back
That's
on.
That's a next edition problem, Dustin.
Yeah, wow. I guess I always think of the future too. That's why I have 18 Hive Guard. That's why I have 18 Pyrovores.
I do
I
like.
don't know that's the case, but I think that if you're a Tyranid player and you aren't playing with Pyrovores and you have them, maybe you have to ask yourself why. And I want to know, am I right in that? Are some of these, I'm sure we have some Tyranid players, in the comments or whatever. Let us know if you are like actually not taking the Pyrovores.
A single Screamer Killer. I'm actually a fan of a single Screamer Killer. I don't like 2. I don't like 3. 1, I do not mind. Dustin,
Really?
how do you feel about him?
I feel like I would take 2 if I take 1. See, I'm of this. I think 1 is like, if that's a threat to me, I will kill it. If it's not, I'll ignore it.
Well, I think when it's a threat, I think when it's a threat, you just don't use it. Like you just use it as the threat, though, because it's a pretty cheap option. You just sit it in your deployment zone and be like, yeah, it's just gonna sit here, and then last turn I'll yeet it out if I have to. But fair enough, man.
I love how much you're seeing yeet tonight too. You're
He
in a
is.
mood.
He's
Have I said-
yeeting a lot.
See,
Have I
it wasn't
said-
just, it's not
have I
just
said
me. You said it like 3
Really?
times now.
Really? It's just a time for the yeet. It's the season. Tis the season
Tis the season to yeet.
for the sending.
I'm cool with it.
So instead, I wanted to see what was up with orcs at the moment, and I decided on this show we like to put some magnifying glass on what some good players are doing with some obscure factions. We have Mork Perry.
Oh, 1 second. Let me.
Oh,
we
did you
actually got
come
a
up with that
comment.
just now?
I got a comment that I want to read out from the chat. The Crimson Hunter Exarch, the Beltane strat for exploding 6s, use 2 hit dice, and then you get 4 pulsar laser hits, and then roll for star cannons. Maybe get 6, or 2 there. It's like basically exploding 6s. That is. I think that factors into what
That's pretty
Dustin
sexy.
you were saying. Also, you put out in a crazy amount of damage, and then it works. I guess similar.
So-
And then
It's
what
just-
Adam was saying, you just yeet it forward, and then
Yeah,
you're gonna kill stuff. Just there you go.
Send it in.
All of
Nah,
us are
but
right.
it's so
Thank you,
great.
Jeremy.
Thank you so much for letting us know. So it's a threat. It's just like I could spike with the right miracle dice on the right turn. I could spike this thing into like to threaten a whole night by itself. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So instead we got Mork Perry. I'm pretty sure this is Mark Perry, but Mork Perry is the name. So
I love that. That's the name then. That's
Me
that's
too.
amazing. That's
Me too.
amazing.
I hope he's got
Might be his
another name
brother.
when he.
It
When
might be
he's-
his brother. It might be his brother. You're right. You're right.
I hope someone just signs up as Gork Perry at some point as well. He's playing Goss. He's got a Vanguard and an Outrider. I quite like this list for where orcs are right now. I think this is where it's at. The Vanguard starts with Zagstruck, Warboss on a bike, 2 units of 9 commandos, 5 for 4 Mega Knobs. That's a unit of 5, 2 units of 4. Then 5 knobs. Which are upgraded to be truck boys. Then he's got a war boss in Mega Armor, a weird boy, another 9 commandos, completing the trifecta of 3 units of 9, another unit of 5 knobs, 3 units of 3 squig hog boys, a battle wagon, and a truck. I like this list a lot. This is the full yeet. This is the season for yeeting. So saith Mork Perry.
I'm interested
Created a
in
monster.
the 3x9 commando squads. That's
I love it.
interesting.
Turn 1, I went first. You're all in trouble.
That's
But
true.
then you play against one of those the Blight Lord Terminator guy who's just like, well, I brought 20 Blight Lords, and guess what they're in front of? All the Poxwalkers. They're not screening, baby. I'm screening with the Terminators. You can't scratch this paint.
I do admire the discipline here to not just go with a battalion, like to actually use his army composition here.
I think just boys are in a really bad place.
Yeah.
I think boys just don't do anything, unfortunately. I think commandos at least give you that first turn. I'm going to take away all your objective holders, and you'll put up no banners, and I will threaten you with just a bunch of 50, 60 wounds that saves for you to take because I'm goffs. So I respect that a lot. I respect that just being that first turn pressure. 3x3. Sorry, I think if you're playing orcs at the moment, 3 mega knobs is almost mandatory. You just need the rend. You just don't have the rend anywhere else apart from mega knobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that. I actually really like this list a lot. Like I love, and Mork's been playing this for quite a while. I think this style of list. So I'm sorry, Mark. That's your name now. I just love it. It's perfect. As long as you're playing orcs, it just makes sense, right? So Mork's been playing this for a while now. He knows what he's doing with his list. We've seen him play against lists that we thought would counter that style, like the straight Tau before they got hit really hard, and he would win into them just because he knew the list, he knew how to play against it. And now those commandos actually really helped that matchup too.
Dude, you playing Asurani into this list and you go second? You are terrified, my man. You are holy crap.
Are y'all surprised these aren't blood axes?
No. Yes and kinda. It's a different list. Blood Axes want to go a little bit more MSU. Want to play a little bit more of the mission. They want to have a to the last. They want to kind of have to the last options. They want to have the options to play more secondaries. This list, Goffs is just. There is no chill in my existence. My bones. There's no chill in them.
Yeah.
Just full power, everything.
I agree with that too. Like looking at this list, it's a Goff list. Like it is. I am trying to hit you as hard as I can, as fast as I can. That's just what it's doing.
I like it a lot. I think unfortunately,
this tournament is chock full of slobber knockers. It's going to be difficult road for anyone here, but what's pulling it out? I'll start with you this time, Adam. What faction or player or combination of the two?
He's bringing out his paper.
I'm holding up the sign, my delicate and extravagant sign that says Nid's gonna win. Nid's gonna win, guys.
Nid's gonna win.
Yeah. So Dustin, you feeling that too? What are you thinking?
I don't like. I love my Nids and I love my GSC. I don't like giving them props that they don't need right now. I'm trying to give them something else or somebody else they're due. And I think if I'm going to give it to anything in this one, I really want to go with more because I actually love that list. But I'm going to go with Suriani.
We got some support for Death Watch in the chat, but I actually am also going to go with the Suriani. I think that it's their time. I think it's not an easy button. Like it's a very lethal, just dangerous list, but it is not easy. But I think that one of them is going to pull it out in this weekend.
Yep,
love it.
Yeah, so the next tournament, we're going all the way across the ocean. There was a couple in the U.S., and now we're going over to the Goonhammer Open over there in Nottingham, the home of Warhammer.
The home of Warhammer. What are we going to see in the home of Warhammer?
103 players, 6-round event, tons of support and players over there. I will say that one of the almost like best kept secrets is like Nottingham pulls down like 100-player tournaments all the time.
Just every other weekend. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's a great place to live if you play with 40K, that's for sure.
It is, pretty convenient,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So what are we going to see there?
The Imperial Super Faction, there's going to be 1 Sisters, 3 Custodes, 1 Admech, 3 Grey Knights, 3 Imperial Knights. That's probably the evenest spread. Evenest. Is that a word? It is now. It's the evenest spread that I've seen.
The spreadiest.
Spreadiness. The spreadiness, the evenest spreadiness that I've seen for the Imperial Super Faction. And quite a while. The Space Marine Super Faction, there are 4 Dark Angels, 1 Space Wolf, 4 Blood Angels, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Salamander, 2 Black Templar, 3 White Scars, and another Death Watch. And the Chaos Super Faction, there's 1 Chaos Soup, 4 Chaos Space Marine, 5 T-Suns, 5 Death Guard, 1 Demon, and 3 Renegade Knights. See, the Death Guard's still coming out pretty hot in the European meta.
That's what we expect to see over there. That's not surprising for...
No, not at all.
What we come to know.
And then the Xeno Super Faction, there's a single Necron, 5 Orcs, 11 Tau. In the Hive Mind Super Faction, there's just 14 Tyranids. There's no GSC at all.
Nope.
Just 14. Just a cool 13% of the meta.
Just a cool 13% of the meta is the Tyranids. Eldari Super Faction, 3 Eldari, 3 Drukhari, 8 Harlequins, and 6 Asuryani. So the Harlequins outnumbering Asuryani a little bit in this one. It's a little interesting, but still very even all around the board. That means the podium is again the Tyranids top 14, then Tau at 11, and then Harlequins at 8, which is it's still the Eldari.
Harlequins are still very good. Harlequins are not as they aren't as oppressive as they used to be, but they still have
No.
everything they need to do to complete
Dude,
missions.
they're incredible. I
Oh,
don't,
they're
yeah,
ridiculously
yeah.
strong. And I feel like one of the harder matchups they had was Nids. And the funny part is after Nids got that, even that little minor hit to a few other things, it made the Harlequin matchup even better into them. So they don't have as hard of a time because they can deny them points still. They couldn't before anyway.
I just had Brad Chester message me and says, like, WTF, no one picked me.
We didn't even know you were there, Brad.
to win Rocky Top.
Did you submit a list? Maybe one of the guys didn't submit a
Look,
list.
is he playing one of the factions? I mean, look, he's
He's
he
just,
could have
he
been in there.
just wasn't in the rankings. I don't know. Never heard of him.
Oh, never heard of who's Brad Chester?
That was last year. That was last
Well,
year,
yeah,
Brad.
that was like 3 months ago. Who are you now? What have you done for us lately, Brad?
I love you,
Oh,
Brad. I'll see
seriously,
you on
thanks.
that top table.
We actually do encourage that. Like, if you are playing in any of these events that we're talking about, throw us a comment in the chat or whatever, and we will. We love seeing it because it gives us some insight of what's actually there. We're only talking about it; you guys are living it, and that's what keeps us
Yeah.
going.
Top players in attendance. This is freaking stacked. We've got number 2 in the UK, number 3 in the UK, and number 8 in the UK all in attendance. I will note, I believe Manny Chima, who's second in the UK, is also like top 5 in the world at the moment. And I know Innes Wilson, who's third in the UK, is top 10 in the world in the ITC rankings. But Manny is up first. Now,
Fifth, actually. And
yeah,
I think is fifth. I think.
not so, definitely the top 10, but yeah, he's up there for sure. They have, like, the UK is just having some, like, huge event after huge event after huge event. These guys are, I would not be surprised if this is the first year we see somebody possibly win the ITC without having to go to the LVO. Maybe if there's enough, if the same person wins enough of these 3-day multiple 100-player UK events, we might just see somebody do it for the first time. Manny Chima, second in the UK, playing Asturiani. Here it is, Paul. Halo Doom, masterful shots. He's got a patrol and an outrider. He's got 2 Warlock Skyrunners, 2 Farseer Skyrunners, 5 Rangers, 2 units of 10 Dire Avengers, 2 single Vipers, and a Wave Serpent. His outrider consists of Baharoth, 7 Dire Avengers, 5 Howling Banshees, 3 Shining Spears, 10 Swooping Hawks, 9 Swooping Hawks, and then 3 units of 6 Wind Riders. This is not the most Manny of lists that we could have seen him do.
What I was going to say,
but it's pretty close.
It actually, reading this list, it seems more like an actual Eldari list than a Manny Eldari list, which is kind of surprising to me. It's actually, it's nice to see it. To be honest, I like seeing him play a more, not a completely standard list. He's still spamming some stuff here. Like, let's be real, but it's stuff that most players will spam with us because they're so good, and it makes sense too, especially with Halo
So
Doom.
it has a few more Swooping Hawks than we normally have been seeing recently, but it has fewer Dire Avengers. So look, spreading it around some.
Well, I'm pretty sure the whole list is pivoted around to make Baharoth and the 2 Swooping Hawk units be the last options.
I mean,
Which
fewer by 3 Dire Avengers. That was a little bit of a joke.
Yeah. Well, if you thought if this was the most Manny of Manny lists, it would be 30 Dire Avengers, 27 Wind Riders. 3 units of 9 Wind Riders, that's the max. 3 units of 10 Dire Avengers, that's the max. And then everything else would just be incidental crap. This list is pretty reasonable. It does objective holding very well. It does to the last extremely well. Plays whichever psychic secondary makes sense the most at the time. Threatens a really good Eldritch Storm. It's phenomenal. I'm not a fan of the Shining Spears. Having played a bit with them, I feel like the Shining Spears let me down all the time. I would have just rathered another unit of Banshees, but that's my personal taste.
I actually, because you already have 1 unit of Banshees, I don't think a second was the best option because you can't double up on the Exarch powers, right? So I don't mind the Shining Spears. It's just a harass unit.
I found I was using the Shining Spears to go and kill some dumb crap objective holder in the middle of the table that I couldn't get a line of sight on, and so 5 Fouling Banshees with no upgrades would just go and do that. For me.
I like it that you got that explosive movement, though. I mean, you can cover a fairly big stretch of the board, and sometimes that comes in to play in the late game. If they can live that long, maybe that's a factor.
Yeah, totally fair enough. Next top gentleman in attendance. This is Inez Wilson, ranked 3rd in the UK, playing Tyranids, playing Leviathan. This is pretty similar to, I think the archetype for Leviathan's getting pretty same, but I'll run through it quickly for you guys. He's got a Patrol, Neurothrope, and a Flyrant, 2 units of 3 Warriors, 5 Tyrant Guards, so a much larger unit there, 3 Zoanthropes, Parasite of Mortrex, a Maliceptor, 2 single Dakar Carnifexes. I think they were mostly Dakar, and a Tyrannocyte. Then he's got a patrol with a Flyrant, 2x3 Pyrovores, 10 Gargoyles, and 2 Biovores. What do you think here, mate?
I think this is a great list. It's
Mm.
like you said, a lot of the Leviathans lists are starting to look very similar, and there's some that are going to take Harpies, some that are going to take Carnifex. I think those are generally the two options people will take. They'll either take Carnifexes or Harpies.
Yep.
But most people aren't even taking the Shooty Tyrant anymore now that they've clarified you can't do the double Venom Cannon.
Mm.
Which I'm really happy that I
You
took
looked a
the
little
time to
disappointed.
I magnetized the stupid thing to make, and I knew as I was doing, it's like, this is not going to be real. They're going
It's
to
not going to pay off.
It's not going to pay off, but it's magnetized, so at least I have the option for as long as it's available. But you don't see that anymore. You see double flyer, which makes perfect sense because one takes the Maw, one takes the Reaper, and they both just slap. Yeet them forward.
Correct.
I got to keep with Adam's
Yep.
theme tonight. You just yeeting them
On
forward.
theme. Yeah.
We got Blind Trooper first time joining a live show. Really appreciate that. Anybody else that joined us for the first time live, chat is absolutely friendly. Got some champions in there. Join in the chat if you are so inclined.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like this list a lot. This seems to be one of the best and most well-rounded that I've seen from Tyranids. This just seems to be a perfect all-comers. It's got the Gargoyles to do bits and pieces. It's got the Biovores to be annoying. 2 units of Pyrovores. I mean, the only thing that I think it's really missing is possibly 1 unit of Raveners to take. Then you've literally just taken the whole toolbox of everything you could have taken. I don't think it needs it though. Like, it doesn't need it at all.
In here, what do you think is replacing what that Ravener slot is? Because I think the
I
Raveners
don't
are
think it does.
also really good. But what choice has this pilot made? That a Ravener could sub in for, if anything.
Probably like
The Tyrannocyte.
the Biovores and the Tyrannocyte would be the Ravener points if I had to find them
That's
anywhere.
the Ravener points, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Tyrannocyte with
Me too.
the 2x3 Pyrovores, or even just a Carnifex for if you want to eat that forward. Now you got me completely eating things.
You're in. You're saying it more than I am now.
I am
Yes!
now. I had to, but I actually love that. I've tried that a couple of times. But the fact that it can come in turn 1 and gives you the Alpha Strike on anything with any of your units, almost, it's really good.
Really good. All right, last list that we're going to be doing for this week. This is the 8th player in the UK. This is Matt Robertson, who did extremely well at Adepticon also this year, just gone.
Oh yeah, really well. I mean, second place, really.
Second place.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Out of a giant field, grueling competition spread over multiple days. Played the game on the stream.
This is also Tyranids, but this is Kraken, and it's very different. And there's
going
one
with the
piece.
movement.
There's one piece of this list that I need you to break down for me, Dustin, because it's doing my head in. He's got a battalion and a patrol. So not even a patrol and a patrol. He's a battalion and a patrol. He's got a Flyrant, a Neurothrope, 3/3/2 Pyrovores, 10 Gargoyles and 2x3 Warriors, 3 units of 5 Raveners. You're cracking, you're doing it. 3 Biovores, 3 Tyrant Guard, then he's patrol. Okay. He's got the Swarm Lord. Why? Why has he got a Swarm Lord? But anyway, rest of the list is 3 Warriors and then 2 Parasites of Mortrex. For those of you who don't know, it is not a character. It is not a unique... Sorry, it is a character, but it's not unique. It's not a special character. You can take multiples of the bastard, and it's a very annoying piece, especially when you've got 15 Raveners in your face and a Flyrant in your face that you have to deal with. And then you just got Parasites
What's it
jumping
do?
around behind
Why
you.
is it annoying? Why do you think there's 2 there?
Well, it jumps on objectives, kills stuff, kills your objective holders, and then spawns Rippers and moves on. It's really, really annoying. Sorry, that's my breakdown, Dustin. What's your thoughts?
It can turn off OBSEC on a unit too.
That too,
because he doesn't have that much OBSEC in this list. So 2 Parasites makes perfect sense. Just turn it off. Like, I'll outnumber you with the one model that might survive from my Raveners that are slamming into you. It makes sense there. And the reason he's taking Swarm Lord, he's not taking a second Flyrant. It is another punchy monster that can give Chapter Master rerolls.
But it's slow, and does it do anything else?
Not in Kraken.
Punchy boy?
It's slow-ish. Yeah. It's slow-ish. Kraken helps. Yeah.
Kraken helps a lot. Moving up the board, yeeting up the board 17 inches, man. It's not slow anymore.
Is he that killy still? Is he terrifying?
He's actually more killy than he was before because he has a lot more base attacks. His damage is a little bit, I'd say, more consistent. And like I said, because he's only taking the 1 Flyrant, this is his second Flyrant. Like, absolutely. Yeah. And he's still going to have his 3-up invuln in close combat. But no, not anymore. It's you just ignore one of the damage. You just free save.
he's got so his movement 9. You're right, not slow at all. Like not slow at all. But strength and toughness 8, 13 wounds, a 2+ armor save base with his invuln, 9 attacks at strength 9, AP 4, flat 3.
Man, you were disrespecting the Swarm Lord.
I
Yeah,
absolutely was.
You were
I was
disrespecting.
I
the
was
heck out
trying
of
to
him,
look
man.
for the spicy tech. I was like,
So-
oh, does it do something cool for the army still?
It's
And it
chapter
kinda
You're
doesn't.
exactly right. That is a very uncommon choice now. What we normally see is, venom cannons or another type of flying big beast or whatever. The Swarm Lord is. It seems like I guess on paper, a downgrade to the tech
On paper,
Also-
it seems that way. Yeah.
until you start looking at the
Oh.
composition of the list. I
Mhm.
think so. That was
Yes.
a great thing to really diagnose. And that's one of the things we try like to look at. This is why is this in this list?
So, Dustin, when do you turn off OBSEC with the parasite? Like what? When do you do it?
That's a good quiz. You have to wound them in the fight phase.
Okay, damn. Okay, so it's not command phase because Hive Commander is a
Oh
synaptic
yeah.
link. He can sling around OBSEC with
Yes.
this through the synaptic link ability from
Yeah,
his Swarm Lord.
That's why
Um,
he doesn't have a lot of obsec, but he can give
hmm.
almost anything in this list. I think actually anything in this list except for flying obsec.
Yep. So he's trying to turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
OBSEC in bits and pieces all across the table. There we go. There's the spicy tech. There it is. And that plus his phenomenal killing ability was probably got him over the line.
I like
for
that.
sure.
Well, we're going to be closing out the show soon, and one of the things that we do at the end of every show is a little bit of a palate cleanser we call the Fuego Repo, where we give ourselves a list of topics to run down and rapid fire our answers. But before we get to that, we need to know your pick on who's winning this event. This is in Nottingham. Remember, it's a different type of environment.
Everybody. Nid's
Adam,
gonna win.
I'll give you the floor. Who do you think, or what faction do you think is winning this event?
Tyranids are winning everything this weekend. Is my
Everything.
prediction in the hopes that they will actually do it and get nerfed again.
I think they're already going to get nerfed again. That's what I think. It's too late for them. The nerf's already been put through. Like it's coming. They know it. They all know it. They might get. Well, they're going to do really well this weekend. They're very strong. Although, and I like that the double parasite swarm lord tech. I like that.
Me too.
I like it a lot.
I'm more unpacking it, man. I see it now. I see it. I had to
like
look
it
at
a
it.
lot. I
see
like
it.
it a lot.
It sounds pretty good. Tyranids are positioned there. I think I'm going to go Tyranids as well.
I have to go with Sirianni.
Oh, you look at this trader. I love that. I love that so much.
Hey, put a GSC list up here, buddy.
I felt this. The look on your face is how I felt when I didn't say Blood Angels.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
T-size, and you just like
That's exactly what it is.
I just sucked the lemon.
Have I been
Just-
replaced? Is that my code? Save me.
I want to say it. I can't give them more. They don't need it. They're gonna
I
do
don't need it,
fine.
though.
The Sirianni right now. They play the mission so well. It's ridiculous how well they play it. And there's a lot of good players here that are gonna be playing it. So I feel like a Sirianni are still gonna be able to take it.
Yeah. Eldari looking good. Well, there you go. That is almost our show. But before we wrap up, we are going to go into this. Listen, it's a bit of a palate cleanser, a little way to close out the week for the Thursday show. Get ready for the weekend. Maybe think about something other than the grindy list and the thrill of the events we just talked about. So this is where we give ourselves 2 minutes to talk about per topic. I don't know if production could actually read these to us or not this week. If they can, we'll let them start.
If not, I guess
And
it'll
if not,
be...
I'll do my best
All right.
I think we just roll, baby.
to fill in here. Okay, well,
Roll
win
with
the
it.
clock. If we can get a clock. If not, we'll just shoot from the hip.
Let's just smash it. Shoot from the hip.
Here we
Smash
go.
it, Paul. Here we
Start
go.
now. Okay, if you don't know, the BAO has a championship belt. I think it's the belt of Russ that you can. It's like a pro wrestling style championship belt. What is the most inappropriate place to wear the BAO championship belt after you win? The shower.
Well, I should have replaced. We should have replaced it with most appropriate because if you win the BAO, there is no way you shouldn't be wearing that belt.
I don't think
There's
there is
nowhere.
an inappropriate place to wear that. Maybe church. I mean, that's
Nah. You need to show it off at church. You need to walk in like a baller, being like, "What did you guys do this weekend?"
let me tell you about the boy soldiers I was playing.
I
and
also-
kick everybody's butt.
I also think that it's being renamed this year. It's usually called the Belt of Rust, but I think it's being renamed in Jeff In Control Robinson's honor this year. But we'll wait for FLG to announce that whenever they see fit. The most inappropriate place, like fine dining restaurant, just slung over a shoulder, just like, eating some caviar, some canapes, and
Yeah,
just
I
being
feel like
like, "What's up?"
that makes sense there. That makes sense there. I think they're used to like all the wrestling guys coming in there, like from WWE. They're
Jumping
there all
elbow
the
on,
time.
All
yeah.
right.
on the waiter.
Here we go. This I think is supposed to be like for a Warhammer 40,000 character, but yeah, I'm not going to hold you to that. I'm going to go with the wording of the question and not place any intent here. What character would successfully escape from Alcatraz?
Gollum. You got a Dolgadua, right?
No, he got
A
let go.
Barad-dûr. Yeah, they probably let him go, right?
He let him go. He
They
didn't
actually did let him
escape.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
They did
what
let
are
him
you
go.
talking about?
But he still
Wouldn't
found his way through
escape.
the marshes and all that crazy crap by himself.
That would call that escaping. That's just navigating.
Well, where's your answer? Hey?
Listen, I'm just here to
Chop, chop.
put,
No,
I'm
chop,
here to
chop on the
put
spot.
down your answers.
I'm going to go with Super Mario.
Probably.
Because they'll find a pipe or break the bricks or something.
It will, yeah.
Just break stuff. I'm thinking of all the thieves and stuff of all the different games and books that I've read, but nobody knows them. I'm sure.
Yeah, look,
Nick
somebody
Cage?
you never know. That might be somebody's jam in the chat. So
you know what? I want to
Sean
see. I want
Connery?
to see who in the chat knows this, but I think Althalus would be able to escape from there.
There we go.
Althalus from. Do I even tell you?
You don't have to tell us. No,
Okay, I will
that'll
tell
be
you from
something
Althalus. I want to see who in the chat would recognize that.
It'll live in myth.
If you're trying to
So
say
what's the
Alfarius?
Silicon Valley
No, whatever.
Althalus.
of the 41st millennium?
Do they mean the show or the place?
Yeah, that's a good.
It's in actual double quotes, so who knows?
Probably one of those big head things that the new squats worship.
Oh, the Leagues of Votan?
Yeah, the Votan, they got their big talking heads, their repositories of technology, and they kind of ask it questions and it just
Silicon
answers.
Valley is like a
paper.
trendy place, like on the edge, where it's right. I've never been there. I don't.
I thought that's where they house the internet. Nah.
Could be where all the tubes plug into.
I mean, Comora, right?
I was actually thinking that, but I think more Silicon Valley would be more like any of the Tau homeworlds, because that's just they just get all their tech and it's always on display and advancing it, right?
Like, who smells their farts a lot? Like, where is a place in the 41st millennium where they smell their own farts a lot?
That's how you distinguish what Silicon Valley is?
Silicon Valley is evoking. Well, if they're all yuppies and they're all like, oh man, we're doing everything so great, yeah, oh man. It could just be like
Starbucks?
a craft world.
Where are the most Starbucks?
Most Starbuckses.
There we go. What 40K vehicle would best handle driving on the curvy, steep roads of San Francisco?
Beautiful open-topped Ridge Runner, just...
Oh, that's not fair. You can't steal my guys.
In first in best dressed, right here.
So, okay, is it something you want to like hang out with your buds? Because then you got to get the Land Speeder Storm. If you just want to hang out with just one person, it's the Land Speeder. Come on.
Yeah. Someone said Mars for Silicon Valley, by the way. I think that's pretty apt.
Mars is like the Rust Belt, right? So
yeah.
that's like where you make cars. It's like.
Yeah, but that's not what they think.
That's true.
That's not what the people on Mars think.
Brute force. It's giant engines.
Adeline Jackal for me. She's one of those Jackal bikes.
Pretty nice.
Oh, Outrider ATV. That's even better. Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, got the ATVs. That's a good one. All right, here we go. What 40K planet would be more expensive to live on than San Francisco?
I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
There'd be one in the warp. There'd be a chaos world in the warp that is
that's already sell your soul.
That's actually nice. Like the Emperor's Children run it, and it's actually nice.
I was gonna say it had to be
your
Sinesh.
whole soul to be there. No take backsies either.
Like you own this land, but you just got to fight for us forever now, so you never get to live there.
It's actually a nice bit of the warp.
I might have to educate some folks here. I don't know. What Primarchs are the Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey characters?
Yeah, do not get.
It's Full House.
I love that one. I love that question. I have no idea how to answer it, but I love it.
So Full House, as in
Uncle Joe is obviously
the late 80s, early 90s sitcom.
Uncle Joey is Fulgrim?
Sorry, Jesse. I may be getting them. Which one was Stamos?
That was Jesse.
Oh, then Jesse.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know any of this crap. I got nothing.
That makes more sense.
Oh man, we gotta watch some videos after this, Adam.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
So
we're
you'll
gonna
be
go
sending
watch
me
the Full
links.
House.
There's
We're gonna watch the
homework.
Full House.
After this.
But who's Uncle Joey? He's like
Uncle-
a comedian kind of guy.
He's definitely Perturabo.
Oh, someone just had the answer for the Silicon Valley one, by the way.
Oh yeah. There
Yeah,
we go.
that
For
is
Sparrow.
that is
Yeah,
that is the answer. That is the
Oh.
Yeah.
answer. Also, kind of in the warp now. Well, the version of it, the Planet of the Sorcerers.
Anybody, Dustin, you got any answers?
For Uncle
Uncle
Jesse,
Jesse
or
and
Uncle
Uncle Joey.
Uncle Jesse, I think, yeah, Fulgrim makes sense. Uncle Joey, that one's a harder one. I
It's
don't
kind
know.
of funny.
who-
Someone in the chat said Dorn on the other side. So
Dorn.
it's kind of funny. That's actually we're making the same joke. It's just
Yeah, it's
both
true.
sides of the coin.
It's true. I don't know who Uncle Joey would be.
Well, look, that's our show for the week. Here we go. We're gonna leave on that cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Come back
we
next
definitely
week to
will.
find out who else we recast from 80s
Oh,
sitcoms.
that reminds me though, because from last week, I said I
90s.
panicked on that. What? I panicked on that the machine song, and I have my machine theme song. I have it.
We can
now.
never go back to it. You have to
No,
wait till it comes
it's here.
back again in the
No,
cycle.
it's here, and it's the Mega Man theme song.
That's a
It's
good
a
one.
good answer, at least. It's a
That
good
is a
answer.
great answer.
Fighting robot, Mega Man.
Yeah. Astro Boy theme was pretty sick too, actually.
I actually watched that after you mentioned it, and it was trippy, man. It was trippy, but it was good.
Yeah. Like, do you know when, like, you think back now when I was like 6 years old and I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch Thunderbirds and Astro Boy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, life was good.
Thank you. Well, seriously, that is our show for this week. Want to thank everybody who's come and hung out in the chat with us. It has been, I mean, just look, a lot of activity. We love it. That's one of the things that keeps us going. Talking about the great events. Adam, Dustin, it's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all. We got Richard behind the scenes. Y'all can't hear him this time, but he is there, feverishly clicking those buttons, bringing you this show. Appreciate y'all being patient when we started a little bit late. Please leave us some 5-star reviews. Hit the thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe. I think there's some bells involved you're supposed to click, some comments, but more importantly, just keep on listening. Keep rolling some dice, playing some games. We want y'all to get out to tournaments so we can be reading y'all's names and talking about y'all's lists. And yeah, being part of that meta or beating it.
And I think it's about 12 hours from now, 14 hours from now, BAO will be live on the airways. Look us up, Twitch, YouTube, all that good stuff. 9 beautiful rounds of 40k to be brought to you by the beautiful Ocho team. Can't wait. See you there.
Yeah, make sure you check it out, guys. Yeet your way on the channel.
We'll see y'all next week. Tune in this
Bye.
weekend.